All right, Matthew 22. This is not too long, just this, and up to here. The parable of the wedding feast. And again Jesus spoke to them in parables, saying, The kingdom of heaven may be compared to a king who gave a wedding feast for his son, and sent his servants to call on those who were invited to the wedding feast, but they would not come. Again he sent other servants, saying, Tell those who are invited, See if I have prepared my dinner. My oxen and my fat calves have been slaughtered, and everything is ready. Come to the wedding feast. But they paid no attention and went off, one to his farm, another to his business, while the rest seized his servants, treated them shamefully, and killed them. The king was angry, and he sent his troops and destroyed those murderers and burned their city. Then he said to his servants, The wedding feast is ready, but those invited were not worthy. Go therefore to the main roads and invite the wedding feast as many as you find. And those servants went out into the roads and gathered all whom they found, both bad and good. So the wedding hall was filled with guests. But when the king came in to look at the guests, he saw there a man who had no wedding garment. And he said to him, Friend, how did you get in here without a wedding garment? And he was speechless. Then the king said to the attendants, Bind him hand and foot and cast him out into the outer darkness. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth, for many are called, but few are chosen. So, what is this talking about? So the king is the father, the son is Jesus, and the servants are those who follow Jesus and tell people of the news. So God prepared heaven, like the king had prepared the wedding feast, and he sent out his servants to bring people in, but nobody went in. They only destroyed his servants. So he finally told some of the last of his servants, Take anybody that you see, good and bad. But those who had not prepared for the wedding feast had been cast out. And so it is in the kingdom of heaven. Everybody will be called to enter in, but only those who are ready and prepared will be allowed in, and the rest will be cast into pretty much outer darkness. Here, I'm going to read verse 14 because it's just a memorable. For many are called, but few are chosen. All right. Paying taxes to Caesar. Then the Pharisees went and plotted how to entangle him in his words. And they sent their disciples to him along with the Herodians, saying, Teacher, we know that you are true and teach the way of God truthfully, and you do not care about anyone's opinion, for you are not swayed by appearances. Tell us then what you think. Is it lawful to pay taxes to Caesar or not? But Jesus was aware of their malice and said, Why put me to the test, you hypocrites? Show me the coin for the tax. And they brought him a denarii. And Jesus said to them, Whose likeness and inscription is this? And they said, Caesar's. Then he said to them, Therefore render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. When they heard it, they marveled, and they left him and went away. So the Pharisees tried to trick Jesus, because if Jesus said one thing, then the Pharisees would have a right to arrest him. But if he said another thing, the people would be angry. But he told them, Give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and give to God what's God's. And I'm going to reread verse 21 because that's just a memorable verse. They said to Caesar, Then he said, Therefore render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. All right. Sadducees ask about the resurrection. The same day, Sadducees came to him, who say there is no resurrection, and they asked him a question, saying, Teacher, Moses said, If a man dies having no children, his brother must marry the widow and raise offspring for his brother. Now there were 7 brothers among us. The first married and died, and having no offspring, he left his wife to his brother. So too the second and the third, now down to the 7th. After them all, the woman died. In the resurrection, therefore, of the 7, whose wife will she be? For they all had her. But Jesus answered them, You are wrong, because you know neither the Scriptures nor the power of God. For in the resurrection they are neither married nor given in marriage, but are like angels in heaven. And as for the resurrection of the dead, have you not read what was said to you by God? I am the God of Abraham, and the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. He is not the God of the dead, but of the living. And the crowd heard it, and they were astonished at his teaching. So, Jesus is saying that you're not going to be tied to worldly things. You're going to be like angels who are in heaven. which angels, they spend their time basking in God's glory. Also, it says 7 brothers, which 7 was a number of completion. It basically meant a lot. And I'm going to reread verse 30 because it's a memorable verse. For in the resurrection they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are like angels in heaven. The great commandment. But when the Pharisees heard that he had silenced the Sadducees together, and one of them, a lawyer, asked him a question to test him, Teacher, which is the great commandment in the law? And he said to him, You shall love your Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the great and first commandment. And a second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these 2 commandments depend all the law and the prophets. So, this is basically saying, love the Lord your God and love your neighbor as yourself. These are the 2 commandments that all the law and the prophets depend on. Whose son is the Christ? Now when the Pharisees were gathered together, Jesus asked them a question, saying, What do you think about the Christ? Whose son is he? And they said to him, The son of David. And he said to them, How is it then that David, in the Spirit, calls him Lord, saying, Lord said to my Lord, Sit at my right hand, until I put your enemies under your feet. If then David calls him Lord, how was he his son? And no one was able to answer him a word. Nor from that day did anyone dare to ask him any more questions. So, how is the descendant of David? Why does David call his own descendant Lord? And that's simple. It's because his own descendant is God. And the Pharisees ended up stopping it, and they did not ask any more questions. Alright, that's the end of the video. I'm sorry the camera glitched out. Don't forget, I have a Discord server. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.